All right. Okay. Yeah. Is it moving? Yes, yes, yes. The clock has started. Good day, everyone. It is Thursday. It is Thursday, Thursday, Thursday. One day before Friday and the weekend starting up once again. It's Coach Eli back at Red Morton Park for another video here. Before I get started here, I want to show you folks something. They finally ended up clearing the Zoppi Circus, the Zoppi family, Italian family circus that was here for a little over a month. As you can see, the space has opened up. Like this whole parking lot here that you see behind me was overtaken by Zoppi trailers. And then over here in this area, okay, was where the Zoppi tent was. It's amazing. It feels like weird to have this space open again. This is like a pretty huge parking lot right here. And for a little while, it was creating a parking issue while they were here, but it's back and open and just feels a little different. Feels like something new. So I wanted to share that with you folks. But anyway, let's move forward here. Hope you're all having a great day. Welcome back to another episode of Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. I am your host, Coach Eli. Oh man, I'm in a good mood today. I'm going to share a few things here before I get to the topic. Most of you know that I recently got fiber installed in my place, fiber optic internet, which is the fastest you can get. I got a couple days ago, I got 1 gigabit up and 1 gigabit down, which is 1,000 megabits up and 1,000 megabits down. Got it installed a few days ago. Worked great for almost a day, and then yesterday afternoon it went down, and it's been down ever since. And I had to call AT&T to schedule an appointment. Thankfully, they're coming out today at 1 o'clock in the afternoon to fix the issue. I've actually read online that many people that got fiber installed had a problem either less than a day or a day after it was installed, and the techs had to come out and secure something that I guess was not tightened up enough, or some wire got messed up somewhere. So hopefully when they come today, it'll be back up and running. That's why I didn't do a second video yesterday, because I didn't have any internet access, and I was not going to use my mobile broadband and waste data. So been kind of dealing with that. Another note here. More than likely, and I want you folks to hear this very, very closely and carefully, because I am not coming back to YouTube to do any live streams or interact with people on YouTube. But more than likely, over the next week, I'm going to be creating a YouTube channel, and I'm going to call it, more than likely, Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. And all I'm going to be doing there is probably uploading teaser, clips of the videos I'm going to be putting out here on Facebook and other platforms. And I am going to be disabling all comments and all interactions. So this YouTube channel will be just to have another way to get my content out there, because it's so easy to find people on YouTube through Google search, and it's just a great way to get yourself out there. But I don't like YouTube's privacy controls, and I don't like the way that YouTube as a company handles situations. But it is a great platform to get yourself exposure through the Google search engine and through YouTube search, because as we all know, Google's the #1 search engine on the planet, and YouTube is the #2 search engine on the planet, and they're both owned by Google, who's owned by Alphabet Inc. Okay, so again, more than likely, I will be creating a YouTube channel just to store some teaser clips, or I might put some full clips out there, but there will be no live streams on YouTube, and there will be no comments on YouTube. All of that will be disabled. I do not want to interact with people on YouTube. I just want to get my information out there and redirect people to other platforms such as Facebook and Twitch TV, which is where I'll be doing my live streaming, and other aspects that have better privacy controls, and I can connect with the right people, just like I've been doing lately. And let me get to the topic now, because connecting with the right people is what this is all about. So, the topic of today's first of more than likely two Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli Daily Walk Edition videos is I'm going to be responding to some comments and messages I received yesterday in regards to the video I did about feminism. I had a feeling that that would trigger some people. I was expecting it, and it happened. And then I'm going to be discussing, do women really understand their own emotions? Do women understand their own emotions? And how a woman's emotions, or how women's emotions actually work from a psychological standpoint. Let me repeat this topic one more time. First of all, I'm going to be discussing or responding to some messages and comments that I received regarding my video on feminism yesterday. And then, I'm going to be, talking about, do women really understand their own emotions? And how do women's emotions actually work from a psychological standpoint? And let me just mention that I am not a psychologist. I do not have a psychology degree. I am not here to give psychological advice. I am only here to share my opinions based on my personal experiences, and allow you to dissect the information in any way that you please. So just want to make that very clear. As a coach, you do not need to have any degree or even a psychology degree to be a coach. Okay? A coach becomes a coach because typically they've had many life experiences and they're very passionate about a certain topic, just like I am, in regards to male and female relationship dynamics, as well as, entrepreneurial dynamics, which I coach on that as well. And you know what? You just come out here and you share your experiences with people. Okay? So just want to make that very clear for those of you out there that may have a psychology degree or don't have a psychology degree and you're wondering, what makes you qualified to talk about this shit? Well, personal experience. And let me tell you something. There is nothing that I believe more than personal experience. Many psychologists out there, will, help people based on what they learned out of a book, which to some extent, that's okay. But a lot of them will not refer to personal experiences, and it's much more difficult to relate to them. So for me, I speak on personal experience and have a lot of it. So that's where, that's where my qualifications come from. And it's up to you as an individual. It's up to you as an individual who you want to follow, who you want to trust, who you want to learn from, and who you want helping you navigate this crazy modern world that we all live in today. I know that a lot of these videos I do really help people get through their days. Some people are struggling to get through their days because they've been through so much. They've experienced so much. Maybe they just got out of a relationship, or they're going through a divorce, or they lost their job, and they're going through a lot, and they're trying to turn their lives around, and they don't have the support that they deserve to have. So if my videos can play a part in just helping you, feel better about yourself each and every day, then that's why I do it. That's where my passion stems from to do this stuff, is when I know that, these videos that I watch, other people's videos that I watch, help me get through my days. So if I can, take what I've learned and put it out here in, in a nice package with a big bow on top of it and simplify it for you. That's what I enjoy doing the most. Okay, so let's get right to it. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about some comments and messages I received yesterday in regards to the video I did on feminism, which I thought was very, very good. If you missed that, just scroll down my timeline or go to my Facebook business page, Coach Eli, Uncompromising Business and Personal Relationship Coaching. And I may be changing the Coach Eli Uncompromising Business and Personal Relationship Coaching to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. I may just change my whole entire brand to that. I haven't decided, but I'm thinking that's exactly what I want my brand to be. Share your thoughts with me below in the comments and let me know what you think about that. But anyway, so first let me talk about a comment I received from and I'm going to mention their first names because, I've mentioned their names on YouTube before. I met both of these people that I'm going to be talking about right now at the beginning of this video. I met them both through YouTube, and it's okay to mention their first name because we're also connected on Facebook. And I'll be tagging them in this video so that way they see it. My good friend Gemma, who lives in the UK, saw my video on feminism and made a comment, and she really wasn't too happy about the video, and she was writing things. I'm a feminist, and what, I work hard to navigate through this modern world, and I've been through a lot, and blah, 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 this and that, right? I can't remember exactly what she wrote. I don't have it here in front of me. Okay, let me just move away over here because we got a lot of people coming, and I just don't want to interrupt people when I'm talking about these subjects. I don't want these people thinking I'm crazy because, when you're talking about modern day relationship dynamics, feminism, the modern man, the modern woman, etc., and you're walking around with a selfie stick, and a headset on, they're like, what the fuck's going on here? What's this guy, a newscaster? He's in a workout outfit walking around talking to a camera with a selfie stick. So anyway, the bottom line, to make a long story short, Gemma really wasn't too happy about what I said. But I really didn't say anything bad. And she basically called herself a feminist. And I've known Gemma for a while. I've known Gemma probably for about 6 months now, maybe a little longer. We met on YouTube. She used to be a contributor on my YouTube channel when I was running it. She would come on my live streams. We would talk about things. And Gemma, I believe, is 30 or 31. She's like in her early 30s. She is a high-functioning autistic woman from the UK. I have a lot of respect for her because when I first met her, I had no idea that she had autism, or she didn't appear like she had. I mean, I knew she had autism because she ran an autistic channel. Gemma, Autism at its Finest Grace is her YouTube channel. Check it out if you'd like. And basically, I couldn't tell that she had autism because she seemed totally normal, and she's a nice, sweet, down-to-earth lady. Okay? But what I noticed about her is the fact that she has a very high level of anxiety. A lot of autistic people have a high level of anxiety. And basically, some autistic people, including Gemma, are very sensitive to certain things. They misperceive, they misunderstand things. This is totally normal, okay? And it's not just autistic people. It's just, I think it's female nature in general. When you're talking about feminism, a lot of women are going to misunderstand what you're saying, even though you're saying it, in the most proper and polite ways possible. They're going to misunderstand it because women in general just look at things from an emotional standpoint, and then they reason with logic afterwards. And men will initially look at things from from a logical standpoint, and then show some emotion afterwards if they choose to do so. Okay? So Gemma was saying that, I'm a feminist and this kind of bothers me. And I got back to her and commented and said, Gemma, number one, you are not a feminist. I know you, because if you were a feminist, I would not, I would not be able to get along with you. What you are, Gemma, is a modern day, empowered, strong woman that now has equal rights in the same ways that men have always had. And you're self-sufficient, independent, and you're able to do things on your own. Okay? That does not make you a feminist. The funny thing is, the good women out there that actually aren't feminists, that think they are feminists, don't even realize what a feminist is. As a man, I can tell you exactly what a feminist is because a feminist is a woman that no man in his right mind that understands how this shit works is going to want to spend any time with, because a feminist is typically a selfish woman that's totally into herself. She may be self-righteous, and she's all about women's rights and only women's rights and doesn't give a shit about men's rights. A normal, natural, strong, independent, down-to-earth woman is going to care about her rights and appreciate the rights that she has and appreciate what the modern world has done for her, but she's also going to understand that men have these rights as well, and she's going to appreciate men in the same exact ways as she would want to be appreciated, okay? That does not make that woman a feminist, because she respects the man's side as well. A feminist is one-sided. A feminist is a selfish, self-righteous woman that only cares about what's best for her and other women and doesn't care about what's best for men, maybe a man that she may be seeing or any other man out there. So I wanted to make that very, very clear to you, Gemma, because I have a lot of love and respect for you, and you are a good woman. You're one of the few good women out there, okay? I really want to be clear and hopefully, get you to understand that and get other women out there that, may not understand what a feminist really is. Okay? Trust me when I say this, Gemma, or any other decent woman out there, you do not want to go out there and label yourself a feminist. You do not want to go out there and, if you're looking to date a man, you don't want to go out there and say, hey, I'm a strong, independent woman, or I'm a feminist, like the first time you meet him. You're going to scare that guy off. You're going to scare that guy off in the same ways as if you met a guy that you liked and he tried to manipulate you to get you into bed the first date. That's going to scare you off. So you coming, out on a first meeting or first date when you're getting to know a guy and saying, I'm a strong, independent woman, I'm a feminist. That's date over for me right there. Okay? If we're talking on online dating, I'll stop talking with you. If we're talking on the phone, meeting through online dating, and you mention that in the first conversation, I'll probably hang up on you and block your number and never talk to you again. There's no need to come out and say that, okay? So just wanted to really clarify, Gemma, to you, that you are not a feminist. You thought you were a feminist. You may still think you are a feminist, okay? But you do not need to label yourself or consider yourself a feminist to still have belief in women's rights and, equality between women and men. Okay, you do not have to label yourself a feminist because you are not one. Making it very, very clear. Again, a feminist is someone that makes it all about herself and all about girl power, and they don't take men's feelings into consideration. Okay? One-sided. And then, a feminist also wonders, why can't I find a good man, or why can't a man accept me for me? Because you're a feminist, because you don't really care about men. And you don't even realize how you're behaving, which I'll talk more about in a little bit here when I talk about, do women understand their own emotions? Okay, that may be kind of a straightforward way of putting it, but there's a reason why I'm going to be talking about that. Coming under some trees here, so I may be a little bit dark. Okay, so Gemma, I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other concerns, and I can address them in another video or through comments on Facebook, or private message me on Facebook or Google Hangouts, or coach.elias, Coach Eli at coach@eliasmelas.com, which is my email there. Okay? But Gemma, I have a lot of love for you. You're an amazing person. And I respect and appreciate you as a strong, independent woman that cares about people in general. That you care about both men and women, Gemma. You don't discriminate against anyone. Don't label yourself a feminist, because a feminist pretty much discriminates against men. That's the bottom line. There's no need to label yourself that. Okay. So let's now talk about another gentleman that actually sent me a message on my Facebook business page, Coach Eli, Uncompromising Business and Personal Relationship Coaching. His name is Todd. He sent me a message, and I was like, wow, I was just so happy to hear from him, because him and I used to be in touch on YouTube. And I believe, Todd, you sent me an email at one point. You were sharing some things with me, or you commented on one of my videos. I can't remember, but we have interacted before. And Todd sent me an email. Todd actually sent me a message on my Facebook business page and made me aware that he's going through a divorce. He doesn't have any kids. And that he's been watching my daily walk videos here on Facebook, and that he really appreciates them. He also mentioned that he's sorry to hear about, the breakup between my ex and I. He mentioned her name. I'm not going to mention it here because I want to respect her privacy. But it was just really nice that, I got a message from him, and, he remembered my story. He remembered my ex. He remembered me, and he valued my content enough, and still values my content enough to follow me. And I want to say, Todd, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you and people like you that get value out of this. We need more people to go out there in today's day and age and put out real, raw content and share the truth. All I do is I share the truth. I don't BS anybody. I don't sugarcoat things thinking that it's going to sound unprofessional. I honestly feel that if you try to take the politically correct approach just to try to make yourself appear better, I honestly think that makes you sound more unprofessional than just keeping it raw and real and straightforward. People nowadays, have a high bullshit filter. They have a low tolerance for bullshit, and they have a high bullshit filter to where they can pick up on BS right away. And they're not going to believe in you or follow you if you try to sugarcoat things. So that's not the way I work. I just come out in a straightforward way and say it as it is. And I think that's what Todd appreciates about me. I'm assuming that. He didn't say that, but I'm assuming that. So Todd, I want to say thank you very much. I understand you're going through a difficult time right now. I know a divorce is much worse than a breakup because you have marital assets to separate and figure out. But then there's also, the emotional turmoil that you're going to go through. Like I said, I got out of a breakup almost 3 months ago. You mentioned that you heard about my breakup. And let me tell you, it was a 1.5-year relationship. We weren't married, but let me tell you, it stung, and it still stings a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I'm in a much better position right now, and I do feel a lot better. Obviously, I'm doing these videos, and I'm just moving forward with my life. But just know, Todd, I understand what you're going through and how you feel, and because of what you wrote to me today, you've given me the motivation and the strength to even, double or triple my production. When I get messages or emails or comments from people like Todd that share their appreciation or show and share their appreciation regarding my content, it motivates me more. And I really wanted to acknowledge that. I believe you're out there in Canada, Todd, if I remember correctly. And let me tell you this. When I was on YouTube, even though I did connect with some pretty horrid people, like the MGTOW group, okay, of people, not all of them were horrid, but, they're just kind of a different type of group that I should have never associated with and I will never associate with again. And even Todd mentioned in his message that he used to follow MGTOW content, but he no longer does. Good for you, man, because the MGTOW, look, you seem to be a guy, Todd, that, hey, you're going through a divorce, but you don't want to sit there and let that dethrone you as a man. I think you still like women. I still think you're going to want to be with a woman down the road. You just might need some time after your divorce to heal, just like I needed time to heal after my recent breakup. But I don't think you're the type of guy that wants to completely withdraw from women or withdraw from society because of the way the modern world is. I think that the videos I'm putting out here, which help people better navigate the modern world and give them the best chance at having what they want in the right ways, I think it's much more of a better approach than the MGTOW approach. MGTOW stands for men going their own way. For those of you that haven't heard about MGTOW, just do a Google search for MGTOW or do a YouTube search for MGTOW, and you'll find a lot of content out there, okay, on MGTOW. Now, MGTOW principles, I agree with a lot of the MGTOW principles. What I don't agree with is some of the attitudes these guys have. These guys, a lot of the guys in MGTOW, they don't like to take ownership for their part of the mistakes that they made in their marriages or their relationships. Marriages and relationships are a two-way street. Both men and women make mistakes. But what I've noticed, and the reason why I just can't hang with these MGTOW guys anymore, is because a lot of these guys are so emotionally hurt. They've got so much anxiety within them because of what happened to them that all they do is they blame women for everything and they take no ownership for their faults. And let me tell you guys, nobody's perfect, including men. So yeah, I feel that withdrawing from the MGTOW community, Todd, and for me, great thing. Okay, but again, I want to thank you, Todd, for sending me that message today. It made my day. And thank you for accepting my Facebook friend request. We're going to keep in touch. And if there are any topics, Todd or Gemma or anyone else out there that you would like for me to discuss, okay, let me know and I'll do a future video on it. I'll get on it as quickly as possible now that I have my super duper fast internet connection to where I can upload content almost instantly in high quality. And I'm going to be doing some live streams, like I mentioned. More than likely, it's going to be starting this coming Wednesday on Twitch TV. I'll share more about that probably over the weekend. I may even do a Facebook live stream to kind of promote that over the weekend. Still kind of trying to put everything together, but just know there's a lot more coming from, Coach Eli and navigating the modern world with Coach Eli, which is going to be my new brand. So thank you very much, Todd, and much appreciated. Much love, man. Take it easy out there in Canada. Canada is an area, this is what I was going to mention before I move on to the next topic here. Canada is an area that has a lot of feminism there. From what I've heard, I think feminism is worse in certain areas of Canada than it is in the U.S. or in other countries. Now, it's bad enough here in the U.S., but in Canada, it's really bad, especially in bigger cities like Toronto and like Montreal and what's the other one? Vancouver. Like all those big major cities, there's a lot of feminists out there, and I've heard so many horror stories from men, from good, down-to-earth, normal, stable men, that just blown my mind. Oh, another thing, Todd or Gemma or anyone else out there, if anyone wants to be a guest and wants to be interviewed and share their story on one of my live streams on any given Wednesday that I do them, okay? Or I can even do some special impromptu live streams if Wednesdays don't work. Just let me know. Contact me in one of the many ways that you folks can contact me. Email, coacheli@coacheliasmelas.com. Facebook Messenger if you're connected with me on Facebook, if you're Facebook friends with me. And if you're not, you can still send me a message. And if I can identify you and it's a normal message, I'll accept the message and then maybe send you a friend request. Or you can message me on my Facebook business page, Coach Eli, Uncompromising Business and Personal Relationship Coaching, or facebook.com/Life Coach Eli. Okay? And then just let me know. Because I really want to make a difference here. I really want to help people get back on track. I really want to provide straightforward, raw, and honest content and information that nobody else offers or they're afraid to put out there because, it's such a straightforward thing. That's the thing. I think there are people out there that feel the same way I do. They're just afraid to put themselves out there and share the information. I'm not. I'm fearless, and that's what you're going to get out of Coach Eli. You got a fearless guy here that's looking to fight for each and every one of you to make this world a better place. All right, so let's talk about do women understand their own emotions? Do women really understand their own emotions? And, putting a question out like that, is at first glance is probably going to piss off a lot of women because it's saying that, well, you don't understand how women are. You're saying that women's emotions are fucked up and this and that. And I'm not saying that. No. And I have some stories to share regarding this to prove it. But do women understand their own emotions? Okay. Let me go back to Gemma that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. I put out a nice video yesterday regarding feminism, and I explained that, hey, I don't hate women. I love women. What I don't like are women that are feminists that are anti-men. So let's get rid of the word feminism and just say, look, if you're a woman that's anti-man and hates men, why should I like you? Why should I respect you? But if you're a woman that respects men and just wants to be respected in the same way that men have always been respected, then you know what? You're not a feminist. I totally respect you on that. But after viewing my video, Gemma misperceived it, like most women will, because she was letting her emotions get the best of her. She wasn't thinking about it logically because women do not process things logically first. They process things emotionally based on how they're feeling at the present moment. That's how women are. That's how women were made by a higher power, which I believe to be God. So women process their emotions differently based on how they're feeling in the present moment. And if you're a man around a woman, what you say, how you say it, your tone of voice, your body language, your demeanor, all that comes into play when it comes to affecting her emotions and how she's going to respond initially. And I think that women just naturally respond to that because that's the way they were made to be biologically. Okay? So when I say do women, really understand their own emotions, if I had to just come out and say it, no, they don't. No, they don't understand their own emotions. They are just the way they are. It's just a natural thing for them to the point of where they don't even have to think about it. And that's what happened to you, Gemma. You responded to my feminist video emotionally because you felt that, just on the fact alone that I was talking about feminism, even if it's in a good way, you felt that, any man that talks about feminism shouldn't talk about feminism. We should just accept it and understand it. But no, we want to have our say as well. And we're going to look at it from a logical standpoint, and we're going to come out, well, if you're like me, you're going to come out and be professional and say, hey, look, I don't hate women. I hate feminists. I respect women that respect men. I don't respect women that disrespect men. Just like you, Gemma, would respect men that respect you. If you were around a man or a woman that disrespected you, you wouldn't respect them. And that's all I was trying to say there. But because you're an emotional being, which is the way women are naturally, just the thought of mentioning the word feminist, even in a good way, is going to trigger you and most other women. And that's because of the fact that women have been suppressed in the past, and now they finally have rights And, quite frankly, in many cases, I just don't think women know how to handle this yet. I think we're in a transition period, and at some point, it's going to all be figured out. But it's going to take some time. So, in my situation, and I'm going to mention a story with my ex. We had we had a great relationship for the most part. At a core level, we were all great. The reason why we split up, I had some behavioral issues that were correctable, and I've corrected them since that point. And there were some insecurities, and I've corrected those. Shit happens, but at a core level, we had a great relationship, one of the best ones I've had. I'm still going to come out this day and say that. I have nothing bad to say about my ex. But there were times where she would question me on certain things, and there were times where she would react emotionally to things for really no apparent reason. And then she would ask me, why she's feeling this way, or why she feels that, I feel she's reacting this way. So she couldn't figure out why she was feeling a certain way she was feeling. She was feeling a little off. And I don't even think it had anything to do with me. So I looked at her in those situations, and it happened more than once. But the first time it happened, this is what I said. I said, you know what, baby? How do you expect me to understand, this particular emotion that you're displaying right now when you don't even understand it yourself? So how can I understand something about you that you yourself don't even understand? And she looked at me like a deer in headlights. And she paused for a few seconds. She said, yeah, you're right. That makes sense. The truth of the matter is that she was having an emotional moment because she is a woman. Women are naturally emotional. Women process everything emotionally based on how they feel in the present moment, in the current moment. Let me come over here because I don't want to interrupt this lady and her dog over there. I think she's doing some dog training. And when women's emotions are happening in the current moment, and let's say you're dating her, you're not the only thing that could be affecting her emotions in the present moment. It could be a financial situation. It could be her living situation. Maybe her lease is about to expire and she's worried about, not getting a renewal notice and having to find another place. It could be that if she has kids, one of her kids is going through something, she's going to have a lot on her mind. And her emotions are all going to be affected by that. And as a man, you need to understand that. And they're going to go through confusing periods, and they're going to, when several in my opinion, when a woman is dealing with several emotions at once, and then you're right there in front of her, and you're trying to console her, and you're trying to help her get through this because, she came to you asking you, why she thinks she's feeling that way. The best way to handle in that situation is just say, hey, baby, look, I'm willing to help you get through whatever you need help with. But again, if you yourself don't even understand why you're feeling emotionally or why you're feeling emotions right now about something, if you can't figure it out yourself, how can I figure it out? So take some time, take a deep breath, think about it, and when you piece it all together, let me know what's going on, and then we can talk about it, and I'll help you get through it. And that's why I honestly feel that women, in many cases, don't even understand their own emotions. And I'm not being critical when I say that. So that's what makes it more difficult for men to be supportive. The only thing you can do in those situations, like I said, guys, is just talk to her and say, look, if you don't understand why you're feeling that way, then how can you expect me to help you figure it out? Baby, I want to help you figure it out, but you got to figure out what's going on within yourself. Tell me about it. Share it with me. and then let's work through it. But most men don't understand that. Most men will get really pissed off and think that, oh, I did something wrong and this and that. And then, they'll start pursuing the woman harder, or they will start doing things. Oh, baby, let me do this to make you feel better. Let me do that to make you feel better. Even if you did all those things, which is the wrong thing to do for that reason, if you don't know what the fuck is wrong with her, if she doesn't know what the fuck is wrong with her, doesn't matter what you fucking do to make her feel better. She's not going to feel better until she figures it out within herself what the problem is. And then, then she can talk with you about it, say, hey, baby, let me know when you figure it out. Let's talk about it. But the moment you figure it out, baby, let me know. Don't hold it in, because I don't want it to build up and get worse. Okay? So that's how I honestly feel about that. And the last part of this video, how do women's emotions work from a psychological standpoint? And again, I'm not a psychologist. I don't have a psychology degree. I'm not here giving psychological advice. I'm just sharing my own personal experience, because, you don't need a degree to talk about psychology. Psychology is a basic thing. Okay? The only thing you need a degree for is to give people therapy. I'm not here to give people therapy. I'm just here to share my experiences so people can learn from my experiences and, maybe figure out better ways to handle situations. I'm not here to psychoanalyze you. That's not my job, and I'm not qualified to do that. Okay? But, how do women's emotions work from a psychological standpoint? Like I've been mentioning all along, women's emotions are in the present moment. What a woman is feeling right now, this very moment, you may be in front of her and she may be saying, I love you, baby. And 5 minutes later, you go to the car to take a drive and go to dinner, and she feels pissed off at you. Because between the time she said, I love you, and 5 minutes later when you're in the car, maybe you said something to her that made her feel differently. Okay, maybe you didn't open the car door for her if she's that sensitive. Maybe there's something you didn't do or didn't say, or maybe there's something you did or did say that affected the way she's now feeling 5 minutes later. That has affected the way she's now feeling 5 minutes later. Let me tell you guys, and for you ladies out there, you have to understand your emotions better too. Okay? Women are very sensitive. That's the way the good Lord made women. Okay? Their emotions are in the present moment. Every second matters when it comes to a woman's emotions. And if as a man you don't fucking get that, you might as well just stay single. You got to understand that. And their emotions are going to fluctuate all day, every day. There's never going to be any consistency when it comes to a woman's emotions. That's not the way they were made to be. There's nothing disrespectful about that. It's just the truth. As far as men go, we're supposed to be the rock. We're supposed to be emotionally secure, stable, and have emotional self-control. Let me tell you something. The quickest way to get a woman to fall out of love with you and to lose trust for you and to not want to be with you and to go from saying I love you 5 minutes before to saying I can't stand you 5 minutes later is to lose emotional self-control. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, this has happened to me before. You cannot lose your emotional self-control when it comes to dating women or being around women. Because let me tell you something, women are going to lose emotional self-control, and that's pretty normal. Now, it's normal to a certain level. If she starts doing some crazy shit, then that's not normal. But it is more normal and natural for women to lose emotional self-control than it is for a man. Okay? It is much more normal because they are emotional beings. Okay? Again, you have to understand that women's emotions are in the present moment. And let me just mention this before I wrap things up here. To the guys out there that have been broken up with or are going through a divorce, and let's say that you didn't want that to happen. Let's say that you're trying to get your ex-wife or ex-girlfriend back, okay? And you're wondering if you have a chance, okay? Depending on what happened in your relationship, in my opinion, like I mentioned before, I'll mention it again. As long as you didn't cheat on her, and as long as you never physically, mentally, you emotionally abused her, in my opinion, you have a chance. What you got to do is let her go. Go no contact. Don't call her. Don't text her. Don't email her. Now, trust me, I've made those fucking mistakes even in my recent relationship, okay? But you got to leave her alone. And as long as you had a strong emotional bond throughout the majority, if not all, of the relationship, that bond doesn't go away right away, okay? And if your woman breaks up with you or divorces you because she says she hates you and I don't want you back ever and I'm never getting back with you again, I'm never giving you another chance, don't take that at face value. Because remember, women's emotions are in the moment. 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road, you may get a call or a text out of the blue, and it's going to be done in an indirect way. They're going to say, hey, how you been? Or, hey, I went to this restaurant and I was thinking about you. Or, hey, I need help with something that you used to help me with and no one else can help me. It's called the indirect direct approach. They're trying to get your attention because now they're starting to miss you because they've had enough time and space to realize that you're actually a good guy and their feelings have now changed. Because that's what happens with women. Women's emotions are in the present moment. You have to understand that. And if you're going to be with a woman, you're going to have to learn how to ride these waves of emotions and learn how to handle them as a man. As a man, your job is to help your woman get through each and every day and help her feel safe and comfortable, regardless of whatever she is going through emotionally. Even the most normal women in the world have emotions. So don't think that a woman is emotionally fucked up if she has a lot of emotions. That is normal. Understand, guys, it is normal for women to behave emotionally and have erratic emotions throughout the day at times. Now, if it gets crazy, if it gets violent, if they start, whipping out knives or guns or start doing drugs or becoming alcoholics, if they take it to that level, that's not normal. But what I'm saying is that if a woman is normal, but her emotions are fluctuating, throughout the day, you got to learn how to deal with that. You got to learn how to respond to that, and you have to respond to it in a way to where she feels safe, where she feels that you can console her, where you can tell her everything's going to be okay, baby, and then bring her back down to a normal level. Okay? And it's going to happen over and over and over again because that's just normal. Okay? So that, in my opinion, is how a woman's emotions work. How long have we been going for here? I think 48 minutes. Wow, this is a long video. Yeah, when my internet comes back later today, hopefully in the early afternoon, I'll upload this and I'll come back to the park and do a secondary video. If that even works out, hopefully AT&T is not going to be there too late. Hopefully it's a quick fix. So, look, everybody, I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy helping men and women navigate through this modern world. I have a lot of respect for both men and women. And to prove it, I'll even go back and say, hey, I still have a lot of respect for my ex-girlfriend. I think she's a phenomenal woman. Maybe she's going through some things herself. But I can sit here and say, despite what happened, I'm only sharing this for example purposes so you know where my head and my heart is and how much I care about people. Okay? Regardless of what happened, even her breaking up with me. Okay? I can honestly say I had a great time in that relationship. I've got nothing bad to say about her. She's not perfect, and she's got some shit she needs to work on as well. I will come out and say that, but I've had shit to work out as well myself, which I've been working on, and I'm way further ahead than I was 3 months ago when she broke it off with me. But I'm not an angry, bitter person. I learned so much from this relationship, and it makes me more so respect my lady even more after the breakup than before. I respected her before, and now I respect her even more afterwards, even though I wish the breakup didn't happen. My personality is the type of person that appreciates people for who they are. And I don't let these things get in the way of, you know, the way things actually are. Does that even make sense there? It's kind of hard at times, talking about my ex because, I'll be honest, I do miss her at times. And I do think about her from time to time. But I've moved on, and, many of you know that I've been on Match.com for almost a month. I've just been hanging out with women as activity partners, like I mentioned, I believe, yesterday in the video regarding feminism. And I've just been, keeping myself occupied. I've been working. I've been revamping my coaching business, and I'm also working on getting into the high-tech industry. I'm still running my insurance business. I got a lot of things going on and keeping myself occupied. Okay, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and be like those MGTOW guys and say anything negative about, my ex or any of my exes. Even my ex that cheated on me, 2 relationships ago. Yeah, I was angry about it at the time, and I was bitter about it at the time. But you know what? I look back and I'm like, I learned something from that. I can look back now with clarity and say, you know what? I learned things from her as well. And this is my advice to end up this video to all of you out there today. Okay? If you look back at all of your relationships and your marriages, okay, even if they didn't go the way you wanted them to go, even if you were taken for half your shit in a marriage, even if you were dumped by a woman, and I'm just speaking from the male perspective here, okay? If you look at these relationships closely, you will understand that you learned a lot from these relationships, despite how angry you may be at your ex-wife or ex-girlfriend. And that's why I choose to not be angry at any of my exes, because I've learned from every single one of them, and I appreciate that. And they have helped me, by breaking it off with me. They have helped me become a better man and learn to focus more on myself and fix things that I needed to fix, so that way the next time around I have an even better chance of making something work, or finally finding the woman of my dreams and settling down and having what I've always wanted, to live happily ever after with someone. Happily ever after is possible if you feel it is possible, and if you do whatever it takes to make it possible, and if you think positive about it. And if you get rid of all of your anger, hatred, and resentment towards anyone in the past that's done something wrong to you, then you're ready to move forward and make it happen. On that note, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you very much. It's been a very, very long video, 53 minutes. Hopefully I'll see you all later today, depending on how long AT&T takes to come and fix my already broken fiber line less than 1 day after it was installed. All right, have a good one, everyone. Talk to y'all later. Bye.